Welcome to NZV8 TV, our final show for the year. The question this week, the Dodge Viper, introduced in 1992, was in production till when? Answer at the end of the show. NZV8 TV is brought to you by Smith's Group, bringing you trusted brands for over 30 years, in association with NAC Insurance, specialised insurance for modified and performance vehicles, and LG, life's good. This week on the show, we're at Thunder in the Park with muscle cars, a pre-65 T-Bird, and Kayne Scott's amazing V8 Viper. Drag Combat, cars from NZV8 and New Zealand Performance Car Magazine compete on the strip. Peak Motor Oil and Coolant, the official motor oil of the IndyCar series, is now available in New Zealand. Pete, take us to Thunder in the Park. Thunder in the Park at Pukekohe, it's one of the best motor racing meetings of the year. It's got everything from GT1s, V8 muscle cars, you name it, it's here, from big to little, and the weather's great, and the action's going to be awesome. Really looking forward to it. Running with the muscle cars and fastest in qualifying is Colin Meadows.
My name's Colin Meadows, I'm from Birkenhead in sunny Auckland, and this is my car. It's a C4 Corvette. It was one of the most popular models that the Corvette produced. They ran from 1983 through to 92. It was an ex-NASCAR engine that came in. We stroked it with a different crankshaft, so it's gone from 350 to 400 cubic inch. We changed the rocker gear on it. And really just tidied the whole engine up. It wasn't that great when it arrived here, but it's going really, really well now. 738 horsepower. It drives really well. It's got tremendous horsepower and speed down the straights. The suspension actually is very standard on this. We haven't modified it at all. We went from transverse leaf spring to a coil spring, pitting about 270 k's an hour down the back straight. This is a northern muscle car, quite different rules to central muscle car. There's two classes that run in New Zealand, so this is a northern muscle car. Pure racing car now, you can see it's so low to the ground, you've got to be pretty careful. In fact, the front spool is actually rubbing here at Pukekohe. We use a Jericho 5-speed. Part of the reason for that was we don't change diff ratios. It's just a bit too difficult, so we went for a 5-speed gearbox. And currently it runs $1,000 worth of shocks and springs, which is nothing on shocks and springs, so we'd probably put new shocks and springs in it. Probably work on the handling. It's got plenty of horsepower, as you'll probably see today. This particular model C4s, no, not a lot of them are racing. In fact, this was the first racing C4 in New Zealand. I think if you can work on your own car, it's rather than just driving it, you get a lot of enjoyment working on it, making it go better. So, and then obviously driving it's fun as well. So, I think at the end of the weekend, it's pretty satisfying. You've looked after both jobs and performed well. So, we did some practicing yesterday. We're qualifying today. So yeah, we're down in the 1 minute 4s, but we should be going quite a bit faster than that, hopefully by the end of this weekend.
Graham Barnes, leading the GT2 class in his old school sports sedan Capri.
Ford Capri, or what's left of one. The car was built by Brent Bullivant from the Hawke's Bay. It's an old sports sedan. I've owned the car for about 12 years. But we've done a lot of work on it and restored a lot of it. We had to change the roll cage and all the rest of it, so it didn't come up to scratch. The roll cage was actually made out of exhaust tubing, and that was all starting to break up, and yeah, there's parts leaving the car for left, right and centre, so we had to put a decent cage in it. It's 350 Chevy. It's putting out about 650 horsepower, and it was built by Roscoe from Roscoe's Engine Shop and Fielding. He does a lot of race motors and stuff in there, and it's pretty quick in a straight line. But we got to get it to go around the corners properly first. The suspension and everything's pretty much the same as when Brent built it. The car was probably 30 years ahead of its time as far as the suspension and that went, and it's still the same today as when he built it. 16-inch Dunlops, yeah, arrow wheels. It really depends on how far you want to go. I think we've gone as far as we want to go.
So what is it about these cars that people love?
The noise mainly. Nothing like a V8 in full song. Yeah.
From the previous issue of NZV8 magazine, this week's Maguire's feature car is a thundering 64 Ford Thunderbird.
My name's Joanne Kapua, I'm from Tauranga, and my car here is a 1964 Thunderbird. Under that bright yellow hood there is a 390 big block FE. Always loved V8s, loved the sound, used to hang out the bedroom window in Rotorua and listen to the stock cars. Thought I'd start in a Mini, and then I met a man called Mark Piddock who's an FE guru, and he had this plan to build up 4 race cars and make a team. And I said, oh, that would be fun, and next minute he said, well, one of them's yours. Totally started from scratch, lightened and roll cage put in, and everything else is just race prep. Yes, it handles fantastic. The first time I ever drove it, I could not believe just turn, she goes, point, she goes. Fantastic car to drive. It races in a pre-65 group. Basically the cars have to be standard. All the internal engine components have to be standard to a point. There have been some rule changes because a lot of parts were breaking because they're getting old. We can have fiberglass panels, but we are limited to them being the same weight as original steel guards. Reason being, steel's hard to come by, especially in cars like this. Yeah, I have never ever been around here. No, this is my first race meeting at Pukekohe is right here and now. So I will be finding out shortly. I finished 6th at Manfield 3 weeks ago. Yeah, from a handicap start, so I was quite proud of myself. What do I like about it the most? The power under the pedal. I've never driven anything like it ever. It's just so exciting and scary all at the same time. It's fantastic.
Coming up, drag combat. And more from Thunder in the Park, featuring Kayne Scott in his quest for the outright Pukekohe lap record. This is NZV8 TV.